What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. Lately I've noticed that video games seem to be getting smaller and smaller. Most of the stuff you can buy in stores right now can be beaten in an afternoon. Thankfully, there are developers who are working extra hard to make the largest maps possible so we can enjoy playing them for hundreds of hours. This week, we're taking a special look at those, so let's put on our explorer's hats as I count down my pick for the top 10 biggest and best open world games. Number 10. Shadow of Mordor. Sometimes the most interesting stories to hear are the ones that are almost lost to history. In the land of Middle-earth, there are many great heroes. People who are born, raised, and trained to be the best fighters alive so that they can protect their kingdom. The man we play as here, Talion, isn't such a person. He's just a simple guard who's randomly killed in the dark of night by some evil orcs. Instead of this being the end of his life though, it just turned out to be the beginning of his journey to destroying the wretched armies of Mordor. Gifted with the power to walk beyond the gates of death, he dedicates himself to slaying all the orc generals he can, one by one. Honestly, what makes this game so awesome is that it manages to combine the style of Assassin's Creed with the combat of Batman Arkham Asylum. Really, what more do you need? Number 9. Far Cry 3. When most of us think of the perfect tropical heaven, we usually imagine stuff like sandy beaches, beautiful island trees, and sparkling water as far as the eye can see. Far Cry takes this idea of the ultimate vacation setting but turns it on its head when you and your friends start getting hunted down by psychopathic pirates. It's rather annoying that many games have a bad habit of creating a lot of great characters and yet forget to make a truly fascinating villain. This project, on the other hand, forces us to battle a wicked band of madmen led by an absolute nutcase named Voss. This guy gives speeches on what exactly it means to be crazy, mocks you for trying to survive, and at one point even fights you while you're drugged, making it seem like he's some sort of magical being. All of this comes together to make a game that really sticks with you. Even weeks after you finish it, there's a good chance that you'll still want to take one more trip back to the island. Number 8. Burnout Paradise. Open world racing games that are actually fun are very, very rare. Building a detailed map for players to explore while also earning new cars and upgrades seems to be nearly impossible for developers to pull off properly. Thankfully, the gearheads behind Paradise managed to find that smart balance between giving us cool things to do, but also just setting us free to drive wherever we want and ignore objectives. If you were expecting a nice relaxing cruise through town though, that isn't happening. Every street is full of rival racers who want to test your skills, so you'll have to keep your mind sharp and be ready to hit the gas. What I love most about this project was Showtime mode. In this, you instantly find yourself competing to cause the biggest car accident possible. Rolling end over end, smashing into vehicles, blowing stuff up, and watching yourself earn millions of points never stops being hilarious. Number 7. Dragon Age Inquisition. BioWare is a company that's really grown in fame over the last 10 years for their insane ability to craft plot lines that no one else could. When they take you on an adventure, you can't help but want to learn every little detail about it. Dragon Age Inquisition is the third game in an already stellar franchise, and yet it's still a good place to start because as soon as you begin a new game, you're immediately locked in the center of a terrifying war. Portals have been ripping open all across the country, letting demons pour into the land, slaughtering thousands. Our hero is a person who's been given the unique power to stop this spreading scourge by using spells to shut these intergalactic doorways once again. That means we must gather a team of the strongest fighters around, track down these tears, and seal them closed before the whole world is consumed. There's a creepy sense of urgency to this gameplay that works amazingly. Every enemy we face off against or new zone we reach just seems to increase the feeling that this place might already be doomed. Number 6. Just Cause 3. I think we can all agree that getting to blow stuff up in video games can be such a pure thrill. Just Cause 3 is completely based on one major rule. If you want to save the day, you better be ready to explode everything in sight. Rico Rodriguez is a special agent with a talent for relentless destruction. Anytime a government gets too wild and starts making dangerous threats, they just drop Rico in by plane and wait for him to totally dismantle their army by himself. This is done by using your grapple hook to steal helicopters, grenades to drop bridges, and generally unleashing chaos upon everyone in your path. The first time I tried this game out, I got stuck far up north near a tower, pinned down by some soldiers with rocket launchers. Not knowing what else to do, I used my cell phone to order a shipment of guns. 30 seconds later, it was literally raining ammunition, which I quickly used to rip my foes to shreds. Moments like this are what make this game so freaking cool. As soon as you pop in the disc, you're armed to the teeth and prepared for action. Number 5. Xenoblade Chronicles. At the dawn of history, there were two gods dueling in an endless ocean. For thousands of years, they swung their blades and dodged blows until eventually they both struck each other down simultaneously. Eons later, their massive corpses are still standing, but now life has evolved on them. Human-like creatures formed on one god, while horrible robotic monsters appeared on the other. While both species are quite strong, these mechanized beasts are winning the war overall, little by little. All that changes when the humans find an ancient, sacred sword called the Monado that is said to have the last remaining holy energy in the universe held within it. Legends tell that whoever is able to wield this weapon will be blessed with the raw force needed to travel to the dead dark god's body and rid the land of the Makanis forever. So much about Xenoblade Chronicles is epic to the core, but the battle system is perhaps what stands out most. The characters all have different specialties that can be chained together for devastating hits. From a sniper who can cut through armor to a badass whose main talent is that he becomes more powerful when he's hurt, you can spend days just mastering all the different combinations. Number 4. Grand Theft Auto V. What could be sweeter than getting to team up with your friends and become criminal kingpins? GTA 5 is the one game on this list I've easily played more than any of the others. I've already spent over 500 hours just doing random races, saving up money to buy businesses around town, and diving into death matches online. In the single player of this game, we fill the shoes of 3 crooks who suddenly get stuck in a situation where they need to rob the most well-protected bank on the planet or get executed by the mob. It's a tale that's goofy and never takes itself too seriously, but still keeps you invested enough that you fall in love with these horribly corrupt heroes. Whether you're trying the story mode or competing in multiplayer, the true heart and soul of Grand Theft Auto comes from the city around us. Los Santos has so many sights and sounds for us to enjoy. If you want to, you can ride bikes down a mountain, drive a speedboat, or just casually see if you can break into an army base and start stealing military-grade machine guns. No matter what you choose to do, it's bound to be a ridiculously fun time for everyone involved. Number 3. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Geralt is just about the last person you ever want to piss off. Even on his best day, he's kind of a grumpy guy, but if you make him mad, he'll gladly cut you in half without a second thought. In this expansive, open-world game, monsters are showing up and terrorizing villagers across the kingdom. Thankfully, that just means good business for Geralt. He's been trained from a young age to track and kill even the deadliest creatures as long as he's well paid. They call people who do this witchers, outcasts from society who are only allowed to come back in when things are truly bad. For the first time in his life, Geralt of Rivia is getting a bit tired of this difficult job. I suppose fighting millions of different nasties can eventually take its toll. Unfortunately, a witcher's work is never done, and just when he thinks he's ready for a break, a whole new batch of troubles appear. Where this game shines bright overall is in its deep lore and world building. With every hunt we take on, there are lessons to be taught. For example, what's a griffin's weakness? How does a swamp zombie eat a soul? And what's the best spell to use when you need information out of somebody who's not willing to give it to you? By the end of The Witcher, you'll probably know more about this land than you know about your own house. Number 2. Red Dead Redemption. The Wild West was a very lawless time. America was still pretty unmapped, and we still hadn't fully recovered after the Civil War went down. This was a period when any man with a dream and enough drive could establish himself. John Marsden was that kind of guy, except he didn't want to be famous for running a store or owning a large farm. He wanted to be the deadliest bank robber in the United States. The crew he ran with was greatly feared for their sheer ruthlessness. That is until they all decided to go their separate ways. Flash forward a few decades, and now John is an older gentleman, a person looking to put the past behind him and raise his son in peace. Sadly, one day the law finds him and he's offered a very dark deal. He can either track and kill the surviving members of his old crew or be hanged for his crimes. Obviously, that wasn't a tough choice to make, so he sets off on his bloody mission. The subject matter of a father being pushed beyond his limits, being forced to do what he swore he'd never do again, all in the efforts of reuniting his family, is such a strong, heavy message, but it's conveyed perfectly. The fact that the writers were able to make a character who's so deeply messed up and yet still seems like he's doing the right thing is a testament to how good the guys over at Rockstar are. Number 1. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This is the ultimate fantasy RPG masterpiece. Skyrim is not only a mind-bendingly vast continent to roam in, but also features perhaps some of the most full environments ever made. If you simply pick any direction and start walking, within 2 minutes you'll find a dungeon, a dragon gravesite, or some other amazing place to explore. This style of complete freedom carries over to the way we play as well. Instead of having a strict class system or pre-built heroes, you level up and grow stronger naturally as you adventure. Swinging a heavy blade will make you better at two-handers, healing yourself with magic will increase your casting skill, or you can be like me and sneak around with a bow and arrow. The options we have are really limitless, just like the amount of things we have to do. The overall goal is to destroy the godlike dragon Alduin and stop his army of scaly warriors from burning the whole globe to a crisp, but how you go about this is totally up to you. Joining guilds, helping citizens, or just clearing out nests of creepy ghouls can all be done on one of the thousands of quests you'll stumble upon in your travels. For its cool gameplay, impressive environmental scale, and staggering ability to keep you entertained for months, I am awarded this my pick as the biggest and best open world game. Did your favorite game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. I never really mentioned this, but Xenoblade Chronicles is actually one of my favorite games of all time. It is seriously that awesome. If you see this thing for relatively cheap, pick it up. It is that cool, and unfortunately, the price is getting really high on this thing. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.